Check, check. Mic check. Yes. 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 Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. I just had to double check, everyone. Let's go ahead and get the formalities out of the way, shall we? We got a busy One Piece stream to do today, because not only do I have to do the reaction for today's chapter, but since it's also the 31st of July, I got to do my reflections as well, so this may be a bit long depending on how we go. Good to see everyone here. Kohagen, Ravi, Dewan, I'm glad you were able to tune in this time while I was live. I'm happy you're here. I'm glad you're here. Blaziken, and Looney, and Ogata-san. Good to see everyone. Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another iteration of more One Piece. Yet another One Piece chapter reaction and review, and especially today, a reflections over the past chapters we got in the month of July. Now, we only got 2 chapters because Oda was on break for a whole month in between July and June, so we only got 2 chapters. So, eyelash. So let's go over stuff. Let's just go over everything today. I'm extremely happy because one, had an awesome church service, played my heart out. My dad went up there and spoke some words, got me tearing up because, you know, I love my dad. And then, on my way home, I'm playing Bleach Brave Souls, and the newest banner that they put up is 1,000-Year Blood War. 1,000-Year Blood War summons for Yamamoto in his Bankai state. Aizen using Hado number 19 Kurohitsugi in his chair, and then Yuha when he is at the height of his power, like at the very end of Bleach, where he could see all timelines, all futures, and affect all of them. I pulled Yuha. I pulled the most powerful character in all of Bleach in Bleach Brave Souls. And I'm waiting for my phone to charge, because I'm going to build up my orbs again, because I want to get everyone else in the summons. If I don't get him and I run out of orbs, that's fine. I got Yuha, but his overall almighty state. Now, we can talk about that later. Right now, we need to go over today's One Piece chapter, because the last chapter that Oda brought us in on, that was a bit of a bombshell. So let's get started with 1055! Chapter 1055, The New Era. And everyone is just enjoying themselves. Everyone's happy in the flower capital. And we see Nami with Tama, and they're all enjoying themselves, eating cotton candy and apples and all sorts of things, while Zeus is just chilling, watching everything that's going on. And we cut back to outside. We cut back to outside when Yamato and everyone else is facing down against Ryokugyu, as Momonosuke says, "You mustn't, Yamato!" "Why not? Why can't I fight him?" "You mustn't! Don't you dare strike him!" And then Momonosuke gets hit from the side, and he gets bound by Ryokugyu and flipped over. And then Raizo comes in. Raizo comes in and goes, "Ninpo, scroll jutsu, fire escape!" And he uses a scroll and just shoots fire at Ryokugyu as he goes, "Yeah, nah. Fire break forest! You think I could hack it as an admiral of Navy HQ if I was actually susceptible to such an obvious weakness?" So, fire does, and you would think that fire works on a person of Ryokugyu's status since he's a woodsman. But he stares at Raizo and curls up a branch and, you know, puts a little armament on the end, on the tip of it, and jabs it directly into Raizo. And he draws blood from Raizo. He stabs Raizo and starts draining the moisture completely out of him. "Raizo, are you alright?" "Curse you," says Kawamatsu. "For every one I cut into, another grows." Does he have any weaknesses? We gotta keep mowing this grass forever, says Shinobu and Nekomamushi respectively. And then everyone starts to get bound up. Denjiro gets bound up. Kawamatsu gets bound up. Nekomamushi gets bound up. And then we cut back to the underside of the palace where Robin has been with Kozuki Sukiyaki. We cut back to that. Under the palace, Kozuki Sukiyaki's secret chamber, and then there's an area below that. There's an area even underneath the secret chamber that has a poneglyph that talks about Pluton being in Wano. Well, actually, I'm thinking of something else. But this is underneath the chamber. And then as Robin and Sukiyaki are going down there, Law is down there too. I'm surprised you sniffed us out. And then Law says, you weren't with the others, so obviously I was suspicious. Don't act like I'm some kind of hyena. And then Sukiyaki's walking down going, watch your step. There's mold down here. I never told Kaido or Orochi about this route. But because Jack the lead performer was a fishman, they discovered the poneglyph in quick order. Wait, what? And then, Jack discovered a poneglyph? Road poneglyph? Did he find the road poneglyph in Wano? 'Cause he's a fishman? Did he know? Huh? Wait! Is there a road poneglyph in Wano? Hold up. And then Robin says, why would being a fishman make it easy to spot? Quicker to see for yourself. And then Law says, how long will this take? Oh, let's say several centuries into the past. And then as they're going down further deeper into this chamber, Robin says, where's this dim light coming from? There's a glass block at the end of that tunnel. Go ahead and look through it. We're on the seafloor at this point. And then Law just basically shambles his way right next to Robin, and she says, hey, no fair. That's actually kind of like almost a childish thing for Robin to say, because she has to crawl up into space, and then Law just shambles and pops right next to her. I've never heard Robin say something that a kid would say, like, hey, that's not fair. I don't think we've ever heard Robin say something to that tone. Huh. But they look through, and both Law and Robin's eyes open wide. Huh? What? Wait. What am I looking at? What am I looking at? There's another Wano under the sea. There's a whole entire submerged Wano underwater. Huh? It's Wano at the bottom of the sea? That is the Wano of about 800 years ago. A different Wano. A Wano from the era of the Void Century? Because the Void Century was 800 years ago. That is the Wano of about 800 years ago. A different Wano. Huh. What does that mean? It means just as I've said, but whatever happened in the past is unclear to me. And then Robin goes, Robin's just watching. The fact that this is not seawater probably explains its... Oh, wait, this is Robin saying, the fact that this is not seawater probably explains its good preservation. And then Sukiyaki goes, what it means is that there was once a Wano with an enormous Fuji mountain. At some point, great walls grew around the island and filled it up with rainwater. The people had to abandon their flooded towns and instead created new land on the side of the mountain for a new country. And that's the Wano of today? It is. Wow. So the Wano we're seeing is the one that was built up from the past, because there was the original Wano was deep underneath the sea at the bottom of the mountain that makes up where Wano is. Good God. And then he opens a chamber. Yep. Roll Poneglyph. We're here. The road Poneglyph. There it is. That's the third. One more and we'll be able to get to Laugh-Tale. We're now high up in the caves at the foot of Fuji. It is further down into the earth, where the ancient weapon Pluton is set to rest. I have never seen it for myself, and I cannot show it to you now. In order to retrieve Pluton, the walls will need to be torn down. In other words, opening the borders means destroying the country's natural defense and unleashing an ancient weapon onto the world. Wait, what? Opening Wano's borders was not just like a literal term of like opening the country up to people. Opening Wano's borders is destroying its natural wall formation that can get you access to Pluton. What? Why? Whoa! Opening Wano's borders has a bigger meaning now! Opening Wano's borders is not just about opening Wano to the rest of the world. It will allow Pluton to be unleashed and awakened. Wano is keeping Pluton from being used. The entire country. I gave myself hiccups. What the actual heck, man? In order to retrieve Pluton, the walls will need to be torn down. In other words, opening the borders means destroying the country's natural defense and unleashing an ancient weapon onto the world. And then Robin says, opening the country will release the weapon? But why did Kozuki Oden want to do such a thing? I've told you everything that has passed down through the shogunate's line. I could not tell you what Oden learned in his travels abroad. What if, I just had a thought. What if the page that he tore out of his journal, is the reason why he had the mindset of opening Wano's borders? What if it's the page he tore out that Momonosuke's been looking for? I could not tell you what Oden learned in his travels abroad. Near the flower capital, we're right back to Ryokugyu dealing with the 9 scabbards. Mere human beings cannot match the might of nature itself. Don't you get it? It was Kaido's presence that kept me from coming here. Sad as it is to admit, Kaido's rule was a deterrent that kept enemies away from this land. Now bring me Straw Hat Luffy! Once I take his head, I'll be on my way. And he's just bounding up all the scabbards, including Yamato, as she goes, we can rely on Luffy and his friends for help. They're better than him. And then Momonosuke says, that's not an option, and I won't ask for your help either. Don't bother. And he keeps trying to shoot out a bolo breath. You have been trapped on Onigashima for all of this time, and this is finally your chance to be free. Huh? So I'm giving you a proper send-off. Luffy, Zoro, and the rest, I've had them fighting my battles for me all this time. We're the ones who will stay behind in our country. We must be able to drive off an enemy. And Denjiro, while bound up, he's smiling at Momonosuke. Momonosuke getting, behaving more maturely. If we must ask for help from those who are about to leave, then we will never be able to protect Wano. Momonosuke! Be gone, forest monster! Be gone from here! Listen to you, squalling like a little kid. I didn't know dragons could sound so pathetic. Be gone! And as Momonosuke says, be gone! A beam appears in his mouth, and he shoots straight through Ryokugyu with Borobrexer! Yo, he shoots straight through him. Ah, something came out! Lord Momonosuke! And then all the scabbards are dropped as, wow, he shot through Ryokugyu so cleanly that he shot a hole big enough to split Ryokugyu's force golem in half. Yo, Momonosuke! And then everyone drops to the ground. What was that, Lord Momonosuke? It looked like Kaido's power. And then Ryokugyu gets upset. And then Momonosuke prepares to fire another one again. Be gone! Be gone! Be gone! Wait, darn you! And he shoots again, point blank in front of Ryokugyu. And then Yamato goes, incredible! Has he mastered his dragon body now? And then Kawamatsu goes, his aim isn't great. And it just shows Momonosuke just constantly. It shows Momonosuke just peppering and burning Ryokugyu down to cinders. And apparently, the uniqueness of his Logia Woods fruit is that he can have his entire wood golem body burned down, and he can reform himself from a seed and grow back. Because a sprout comes up out of the ground, and then it starts to grow rapidly into the form of Ryokugyu. Goodness, you trying to burn down an entire town? So you mean business? Fine. But you're a pitiful replacement for Kaido. I'll skewer you from mouth to tail. And then there's a shot of Conqueror's Haki off the coast. Oh, it shakes! It shakes! Oh! What? Whoa! Wow! Wow! There's a blast of Conquerors that hits Ryokugyu as he's reforming. And this stops. Wait, wait. Ryokugyu gets hit with Conquerors, and it stops him from using his powers. It stops him. You have to have a strong will to resist Conquerors. But this burst of Conquerors that's coming from Shanks is causing Ryokugyu to not be able to control himself completely. Because he turned into a giant wood golem form. But as soon as Shanks' Haki hit him, he turned back into... he turned back into a human again. Are we seeing another stage of Conquerors? Can it force a Logia user to assume their human form if the Conquerors is that strong? Am I overthinking this? Because he's no longer in his golem form as he goes, wait, stop! That's Supreme King Haki. Who's doing that? The red-haired pirates? Are you nearby? And then it's off to the coast on the Red Force. Cap'n, and I believe this is Lucky Rube. Cap'n, easy with the sudden Haki burst. The new guys are foaming at the mouth. And then Shanks goes, now I'm not accusing you of fighting dirty, Navy man. But when the new shoots that just changed pirate history are exhausted from their feet, don't you think that what you're doing is a bit much? Ooh. And then we see Luffy when he made that scar underneath his eye in a flashback when Luffy was a child. Then it cuts to Momonosuke when he was with Oden, and then we see the birth of Hiyori with Lady Toki. And then Shanks says, "Are you afraid of the new era?" And then Ryokugyu puts his hands up in the air, just like Kizaru did to you're Ben Beckman. Ryokugyu stops using his power and says, "Look, I'm not picking a fight with you guys. Not yet. Fine. And Ryokugyu leaves. He leaves. Just from the... Ooh, Shanks. Oh, I'm scared. Oh, I am scared of this man. But when Shanks glares in the direction of Ryokugyu, it shows like his face is heavily shadowed, and he's upset as he says, "Are you that afraid of the new era?" And then Ryokugyu just relents and stops! Then it cuts to the Straw Hats and everyone just chilling, relaxing, and partying. And then it cuts to Sanji. It cuts to Zoro and Luffy and Jinbei. The big three, the monster trio, or the monster quad now. All of them are sitting in one spot. Yo, they knew he was there! And Luffy says, "He's gone." And Sanji says, "We don't get to fight." And then Zoro says, "Not bad, Momo. Not bad." And then Jinbei says, "That was some monstrous hockey being thrown around, though." And then Sanji goes, "Yeah, what was that?" No, I think Luffy says, "Yeah, what was that? It made me think of a familiar face." And then it shows the Red Force just sailing off into the distance. And that's the end of the chapter. Oh my god! Yo! Wow, so much stuff was revealed in this chapter. Oh my goodness, everybody. Yvonne, welcome to the stream. Good to see you, Psycho, and CJ as well. Everyone. Wow. Okay, let me read through your comments. Notification received. I'm ready to party. He gave Raizo the suck. Oh no, don't do that. How Jack is swimming. He's a devil fruit user. He's not swimming. He can't swim. Since he has a devil fruit power, he can't swim. But since he's a fish man, he can survive underwater. He just can't move. So maybe he got dropped down into Wano at one point, in the waters of Wano, and he found out where the former city of Wano used to be. So much stuff, so much stuff. Oh my god. This was it. When you get stuck at the end of the chapter to process, it means it was a good week. Dewan, I gotta process everything that I've just seen. I have to process everything. I have to process everything that I just seen. Okay. I gotta go through your comments. Maybe he didn't have it at that time. It's like Water 7. There's an old Wano under the sea. SpongeBob. There is an old Wano right under the sea. And it has Pluton. So much lore. The plot thickens. Bootlicker. That's why Zunisha is needed for Wano's opening, because he's probably the one that's supposed to destroy the walls. That's a good point. Zunisha is needed in order to open the walls of Wano that keeps Pluton secured. Wow, opening the borders of Wano has a brand new... Wow. Opening the borders of Wano has a brand new meaning now. I'm still trying to process everything. But opening Wano's borders has a brand new meaning. It means open up Wano so you can unleash Pluton. Be gone. Q Pokemon Moose's Momo has learned Bolo. Q Pokemon music. Momo has learned Bolo breath. Boom, boom, boom. Kaido has Bolo breath. Now Momo has Be gone. Be gone breath. Shanks has made his presence felt. Admirals are on par with the Yonko. Yeah, right? No! There are some that can fight a Yonko, but to be on par? This chapter just confirmed that Shanks is just built different. We don't know if Jack had his devil fruit power when he met Kaido, but he's a fishman, though. Saw a theory that Pluton is a Klabauterman? Since it's resting, that's a German word, right? When you get, wow, okay, let's go through this chapter again. Well, actually, let's do this. Let's go ahead and start my reflections for chapter 1054, which is the chapter where we find out what happened at the Reverie. And then I'll do my reflections of today's chapter, and we'll go over the synopsis and the special notes concerning it. I'm just shocked. Maybe 800 years ago, there was a man in Wano that had Pika's power, and then the one that made those walls. Shanks is that guy? Shanks is that man! Ryokugyu was by himself against 2 full Yonko crews. That's a low difficulty. But it's just, here's the thing. Ryokugyu, sure, everyone else was still resting, and he was up against 2 Yonko teams, but it was just the feeling Shanks is conquerors from outside of the island. Now remember, Shanks is not inside of Wano, like in the area where Wano is, like where Wano is raised. Shanks is near the bottom level, you know, where you have to use the special entrance or the carp to get up the waterfall to it. Shanks is all the way out in the open sea, and his conquerors reaches all the way to the flower capital and makes Ryokugyu go back to his human form and be all like, oh, I don't want to fight you guys. Shanks isn't even on the island. And Ryokugyu is all like, I can feel your presence from all the way in here. I'm not fighting you. Fine, I got it. I'm not going to fight you yet. Note he said, not yet. But we'll go over that. In a minute. Okay. Oh my God. One Piece. And we're not going on break after this? We're not going on break after this? Oda's ready. Oda is ready. He's already revealing so much. So many things are getting revealed right now. Oda is ready, but we're not. Oh my God, Oda. Oh, I'm so glad I picked up on this series when I was younger, when I was like in my early teens. I'm so glad I picked up on One Piece. This is so amazing. So, going through chapter 1054, the Flame Emperor, Ryokugyu confronts the Akazaya 9 and he starts fighting them, and we find out that he has the Woodswitch fruit, and it's a Logia type, which we find out a little bit more of how he's able to survive grievous hits. The man can literally have his entire golem wooden body blown apart, and he can grow back from a seed. So it's scary how powerful this guy is. And he goes up against them saying, so you know how, he says, so you know how things work outside of here. The celestial dragons are the gods of the world, and here in this country, unaffiliated with the world government, you have no human rights. So here, Ryokugyu shows that he's a firm believer in the mentality of the celestial dragons, and he follows it. He just follows it, saying, like, the celestial dragons are gods outside, out here. They're gods. And you, who are not affiliated with the world government, you have no human rights. You're less than human. So whatever happens, don't blame me for it. It's how the world works. Then he reveals his devil fruit power and he says, let me teach you something. Humankind has lasted through the ages by creating and defining the inferior. All the rest of us can look down our noses at you unaffiliated countries. Discrimination creates solace. This is a man that thinks if you discriminate someone, or people who think that discrimination benefits the world, he's a person that thinks that that's fine. He's the person that thinks that discrimination is okay and fine. He's that type of individual. It doesn't matter how many people die in this country because the law does not apply here. Just try to stop me, I'll kill thousands of you. He doesn't care about who he kills in order to get to Luffy. Anything to ensure I reach Straw Hat Luffy. And then Yamato comes in and she bashes him over the head and slams his head down into the ground. And then she addresses herself as, I'm Yamato, the son of Kaido, and he's surprised. And then Momonosuke comes in and he tries to use a bolo breath, but nothing happens. And everyone tries to attend with Ryokugyu. And Momonosuke gets bound up in vines. Matter of fact, let me put the chat. Oh, see this! Dude! Cedez, first of all, thank you for the super chat. My goodness, man. And secondly, this story that I'm talking about is way ahead of you. You're not even out of Whole Cake Island yet, man. I don't want to spoil the story for you because things are getting revealed. I don't want to spoil this, please. I appreciate the super chat, but please don't spoil yourself because Cedez is watching the anime of One Piece and he's trying to catch up. He's trying to catch up through the anime, and he's not where we are yet. He's not where we are, so I don't want to spoil anything for him. But man, Cedez, dude. Why are you always doing this? You're always surprising me out of nowhere with these super chats. Like, is this gonna? Man, don't just put yourself out with doing this, man. I greatly appreciate it, but don't put yourself in the bind. Didn't hear anything, bro. Trust me. Okay, that's fine. But Cedez, I'm going in-depth in some massive Wano spoilers, so I kind of don't want to go any further with spoiling anything for you. While I appreciate the super chat, and hold on, let me read what it says. I guess it must be getting good, how you reacted in disbelief. It's good, but I don't want to spoil anything for you. Sounds like the extreme thinking of both right and left discrimination at its worst is the ultimate result. But, I have to keep going, no. I have to keep going. Cedez, proceed at your own risk, but I have to keep going with my reflections. Ryokugyu binds up Momonosuke, with Momonosuke saying, Yamato, you must not fight! And then it cuts to the Red Force outside at sea near Wano, where the red hair pirates are just chilling. And everyone's excited. Everyone is excited. I was talking to you in Discord, see you live, and just drop by. Hold on. I had some pages loaded up. But Shanks and the rest of the crew, once again, Cedez, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. My goodness, man. Every time. Well, almost every... Well, when you do it, it just shocks me to see that happen on my channel. Not just from Cedez, but just in general. That's always going to surprise me. Always. But the Red Hair Pirates are out to sea outside of Wano with the crew going, it's been ages. Haven't been here since we said farewell to Odin. And this is Shanks talking. Shanks hasn't been to Wano since they left Odin. Now, the rest of the Red Hair crew, this might be their first time coming to Wano. I suppose Momo and Hiyori are all grown up now. Yeah, just in time. Momonosuke had, thanks to Shinobu, Momonosuke had the opportunity to age up a couple of years, even though mentally he's still not there yet. Lucky Roo goes, hey, Captain, let's go see Luffy. Everyone's happy to be there. Yasopp is very apprehensive about going on the island because his son Usopp is there. And it shows Shanks looking at the newspaper that now proclaims Luffy as one of the new Yonko. And Luffy is reading it, and then he's thinking back when Shanks and his crew, before they made their way to Luffy's village, raided the ship that Who's Who was on, that had the Gum Gum fruit on there. Uta was in this chapter too. I think that's what that side panel was when it showed a young Luffy and then Momonosuke and then Hiyori. There was a person on the side of the panel, so that might have been Uta as well. But it shows Shanks. I'll come back to that once we get to chapter 1055. Shanks and the rest of the crew raid the government ship and take the Gum Gum while Who's Who is on there. Then it cuts to the village of Luffy and the time Shanks spent on the island. And then the moment where the King of the Coast took Shanks' arm in exchange for him saving Luffy. And then it cuts to the other crew members going, guess all the bosses know that Straw Hat Luffy guy. And these are some newcomers that are on the ship alongside with Shanks and the crew. Oda putting promos in this chapter. Yeah, One Piece Film Red is coming soon. And then these newcomers that are on the ship of Shanks' crew. Now, I wonder I wonder how strong these newcomers are, because you can't just be joining Shanks' crew, but you weak. You two heard that it was Uta, but for me, it's just a shadow. Yeah, I just saw a shadow. I just saw a shadow, and I still couldn't make out the shape of it, so I don't know. I don't know. It could be Uta, but maybe not. But Shanks says, I'm not interested in seeing Luffy. Remember what's happening in our territory right now? And, oh yeah, there's that follower of Luffy's, Bart something. He burned our flags down and replaced them with Luffy. So how would that make me look? What happens to the trust put in me? So Shanks is on the outskirts of Wano, but he wants to take care... He wants to take care of the matter of Bartolomeo trying to ruin Shanks' good name instead as a Yonko by being extra and putting up pictures of Luffy all over the place and flags of Luffy in place of Shanks' own in Shanks' own territory. So Shanks is not interested in seeing Luffy right now. And then Shanks sits down with Ben Beckman, and Ben Beckman's just chilling. And then he pours some sake, and he says, "Say, Beck, I think it's time we make our move. Let's claim the One Piece." Now, some theories I heard and seen is some people think, does Shanks know where it is? Because it's very specific for him to say, let's claim the One Piece, and not, let's go find the One Piece. So does Shanks know where it is? Could he possibly know? Could he have possibly found out where Laugh Tale is? Now, mind you, I'm not going off of the assumption that, Shanks was there with the rest of his crew, because no, he wasn't with the rest of the crew when Roger made his final journey to Laugh Tale. He had to stay behind. He elected to stay behind with Buggy when Buggy got sick. So neither Buggy nor Shanks was there on the final voyage for them to know where Laugh Tale was. But does Shanks now know? Years later, does he know now? Or does he have a way of being able to get to Laugh Tale now? But he says, let's claim the One Piece, and that's the one big thing that he says in this chapter. Then we cut to Navy HQ in the New World, where we get introduced to one of the... Detective Fox, welcome to the stream. I'm going over... Could Roger have told him? I don't know. We don't know how Shanks could possibly say, let's claim the One Piece instead of go finding it. So, who knows? Shanks should at least know the coordinates of Laugh Tale. That's what Shanks was crying about, maybe? Yasopp is where Usopp got the whole I can't go to that island place sickness from. Yeah, I can't go to that place. I can't go to the islands I'm suffering from. I'm a deadbeat fatheritis. Uta's character design is very Vocaloid inspired. Her name is also similar to Ulala from the Dreamcast classic game Space Channel 5. I knew she looked familiar. Especially with those shoes. But we cut to Navy HQ, where Kainu is there alongside Kizaru and basically the Navy FBI in head of FBI for the Navy, where we find out we can't let the revolutionaries keep running unchecked, Akainu. I know that, but we don't have the troops to send. They're calling him Flame Emperor Sabo now. He's the hero of the entire world. 800 years ago, the world government was created by 20 founders. Of their descendants, only Nefeltari Cobra attended the reverie this year, which is why his murder was so meaningful to the Revolutionary Army. And in the letter... in the paper, it shows that Sabo was the one, it says that Sabo was the one who killed Cobra. I doubt it, and many of you agreed with as me that something is off. Because there's no way that Sabo's not the type of individual that just take a life like Cobra's just for the sake of his goal. Sabo's not that cold-hearted. Let me go to chapter 1054 and get 1055 so we can get this synopsis. So when it puts his face in the paper, I'm just thinking there's absolutely no way that Sabo did this willingly with no chill whatsoever. and it shows Revolutionary Army Chief of Staff. Sabo kills Cobra, and then it shows King of Alabasta. And as we go through here, we get some exposition about what happened during the altercation between Fujitora and Ryokugyu versus, the commanders of the Revolutionary Army. Just hours before that, in the Land of the Gods, the living area of the Celestial Dragons, they destroyed the hoof of the Celestial Dragons, symbol of the world nobles, in a declaration of war. Wow, they must have got some inspiration from Luffy when he went to go save Robin in Enies Lobby. Speaking of Enies Lobby, my collection of One Piece volumes is growing shorter. I am currently in the 30s right now, working backwards, and I almost have them all. I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer to having every single volume of One Piece. And the recent 100th volume released, and I got that with a ton of other manga as well. This reminds me of how Luffy retaliated and declared war on the world government when he went to go save Robin in the events of Enies Lobby. Admirals Ryokugyu and Fujitora led the navy into battle, but in the end, the ex-revolutionary and Celestial Dragon slave, Bartholomew Kuma, was freed, and all of the revolutionaries escaped. I'm certain that it was difficult for the admirals to exhibit their full power in the Land of the Gods, and then Akainu says, don't make excuses for them. And what about the disappearance of Princess Vivi, which happened at the same time as Cobra's murder? So Vivi's missing, Cobra's dead, and Kuma has been taken away by the revolutionaries, with Sabo being the key person named the murderer of Cobra. And then we get introduced to Kurama Tensei, director of the Navy Bureau of Investigation. You have every volume of One Piece, lucky me. I'm working on it. As a father, you have never been a fan of bum dads. It's not cool for Oda to make me like these characters. Oda knows how to create characters that you can hate and like at the same time. That's how you know you are able to make good characters. If you can hate and like them at the same time. I mean, think of Thanos from the MCU. You hate the dude because he's just that evil. Or just that ruthless. But you love him because he's just that good of a character. That's how you know you've written a very good character. Which makes me wonder how they're going to top Thanos with Kang the Conqueror. Conversation for another time. But Kurama says we're still investigating the matter, as well as any possible connections between the two. I need to learn how to project more, so that way I'm not hunching over. It's a double blow for Alabasta. Their ship's still at the Red Port, in fact. They can't send it home with all that's going on. And then Kizaru says, can we assume the attempted murder of St. Charlos is solved then? As far as the accusation that St. Miasgard let the attacker escape, we're going to have to talk about that later. Yeah, we're going to have to talk about that later. In Virgil's case, he had more solid excuses or reasons to be a deadbeat dad. Yeah, he was still trying to find himself. As far as the accusation that St. Miasgard let the attacker escape, that's being deliberated in the Land of the Gods. So Miasgard is suspected of helping the revolutionaries escape. He's being suspected, and now I guess they're holding trial for him in the Celestial Dragon's home, and who knows how their judicial system works. They don't even know how to walk like regular people without being carried everywhere, so I doubt they have a judicial system that actually works competently. That's being deliberated in the Land of the Gods. The Holy Knights have intervened, and it's all a big mess now. Let them figure it out. So Akainu doesn't care what happens with the Celestial Dragons in their time, in their space, or how they handle things. He's worried about what the Navy has to do. But in each case, the public is convinced that Sabo was the one pulling the strings, and it's causing quite a stir. Add to that the recent events orchestrated during the King's return with the 8-Nation Revolution. So when the Kings returned from the reverie, the nations went up in uproar. The kings, the fact that the world government feels that Sabo is more influential than Sabo is very telling. Not only that, but as soon after everything that's happened in the reverie, and all of the kings of the 8 nations that came there to deliberate and discuss the reverie, revolution erupted across all of the nations. all of the major nations that the kings who attended the reverie preside over. An 8-nation revolution. Rebellion has pretty much erupted over all the nations of the kings who returned from the reverie because of what Sabo did. Because of what the revolutionaries did at the home of the most powerful, influential people over the entire world, save for Im-sama. Revolution has just jump-started. And now the many sparks of rebellion smoldering all over the world are beginning to worship him like he's some sort of god. And we see people from different nations, specifically one nation, where one dude is hyping up everyone, calling Sabo Flame Emperor, the Flame Emperor. At this point in time, he's so popular that he might have more influence than Dragon, commander-in-chief of the revolutionaries. And Kizuru says, and now his brother, Straw Hat Luffy, is an emperor of the sea. And then we have one dude on a stand with a microphone saying, in the world of pirates, the Flame Emperor's brother has upended the old order. So they know of the events. They already know of the events of Luffy versus Kaido. And they see Luffy as the brother of Sabo. So whatever Luffy does, it also helps out Sabo's image as well, since they're so close to one another. In the world of pirates, the Flame Emperor's brother has upended the old order. The times are indeed changing. And then Akainu goes out and he says, this is one heck of an age I had to be Fleet Admiral in. And I get reminded of how when we first, in the Ultimate Chapter, when it was revealed the bounties of all the former Yonkos, Roger, Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, Shanks, and Blackbeard, when we got that chapter and Sengoku came in, one of the most prolific things I remember about this chapter, going back to it, Hype Man, thank you CJ, I forgot that's what you call them. When Sengoku came in and asked Akainu, so how are you enjoying your time as Fleet Admiral? I come back to this moment when he says, this is one heck of an age I had to be Fleet Admiral in. And I'm just thinking, Sengoku did ask you. Hey, and I believe he was making, I know for a fact he was making fun of Akainu, but Akainu had no idea that these things were going to be happening. And Akainu's not having the best of time, because would you imagine that things would be going this way if Sengoku was still in charge? It probably would, but he wouldn't be complaining about it that Akainu is. I bet Sengoku right now is so glad that he's an inspector, a chief inspector right now, and he doesn't have to worry about all this stuff coming back on him as the head of the Navy. He doesn't have to worry about it. Well, not commander-in-chief, but Fleet Admiral, because we still have a commander-in-chief. I don't know if it's still Kong, because we haven't seen him in ages, but Akainu says, this is one heck of an age I had to be Fleet Admiral in, but no matter who comes at us, I'll drive each and every one of them back into the depths of the sea. So, Akainu doesn't care. He just sees this as, no matter what happens, we're gonna take them all down. And that's the end of chapter 1054. Now, if we go over the quick notes of this chapter, we get some quick references. The Scabbard, Shinobu, Yamato, and Momonosuke confront Ryokugyu outside the Flower Capital. Neil Johnson, a member for 5 months. All hail Flame Emperor Sabo. Ooh, man. Has it really been 5 months since you've been a member, man? You saw Sengoku back in Dressrosa. He turned into Garp 2.0. Yeah, and he embraced it more later on during the Ultimate Chapter. The Scabbard, Shinobu, Yamato. Why am I thinking Yamamoto? I'm thinking of the fact that I pulled Bankai. I pulled Bankai Yamamoto earlier this morning. I pulled not the newest version of Yamamoto in Bleach Brave Souls on my phone. I pulled the Bankai version where he's able to bring back the fiery soul charred remains of people he's killed with his Bankai. I got that version of him. I don't have the one where he can just erase things from existence with the tip of his sword. I want to get that one though, but having Almighty Yuha is good enough for me. Scabbard, Shinobu, I need to get through these references because we need to get to 1055. I apologize, but I'm going to take my time because I've already did my episode reaction late last night. and all I have is just like the My Hero reaction, and I got Snake sitting in the back of a cargo truck in Afghanistan on Metal Gear Solid 5, and I had him there all morning, and I'm letting him just ride on the back of this cargo truck, and it's letting the game process materials real easily for me. We'll catch up with the stream in a few days, traveling for the weekend, looking forward to seeing the new chapter review. Neil Johnson, you go ahead and enjoy yourself this weekend. Because I've already did my review. Reaction to 1015. I'll do my conglomerate of everything at the end. But you enjoy yourself wherever you're going or wherever you are heading for the weekend, Neil. Enjoy yourself completely. Enjoy yourself. Sengoku did eat Garp's crackers before Marineford. He did. He ate all of them, and Garp was upset before the whole Marineford war. Scabbard, Shinobu, Yamato, and Momonosuke confront Ryokugyu outside the Flower Capital. They have decided to keep this information a secret from the Straw Hat Pirates, but they know already. Ryokugyu reveals to have consumed the Morimori no Mi, a Logia-type devil fruit. Ryokugyu attacks the samurai by transforming himself into a large tree-like being. So basically an Ent. Ryokugyu manages to ensnare Momonosuke in dragon form with his ability. The red-haired pirates are sailing around Wano's waters. Shank reminisces about the time he stole the Gum Gum from Who's Who in CP9 and the time he spent with Luffy in Fuchsia Village. Thank you, because I completely forgot what Luffy's village was called. I kept calling it Luffy's Village. It is revealed that Yasopp is aware of his son's involvement in the Straw Hat Pirates. Shanks decides not to reunite with Luffy just yet, but instead decides to go after Bartolomeo, who has been ravaging their territory. Shanks also decides to go after the One Piece. Sakazuki and Boris Borsalino discuss recent events with another Marine official, Tensei. Nefertari Cobra was apparently assassinated by Sabo. Vivi has disappeared. The Revolutionary Army has successfully freed Bartholomew Kuma from slavery. The Revolutionary Army destroyed the hoof of the soaring dragon at the city's entrance as a declaration of war. Charlos was a victim of a failed assassination attempt from an unknown assailant. So Saint Charlos was actually, someone tried to kill him. I don't know who, but someone tried to kill him. Don Quixote Miasgard seemingly assisted Charlos' attacker in escaping, and the world nobles are currently deliberating Miasgard's actions. As a result of the Revolutionary Army's actions in Marijois, Sabo has gained massive global influence and is now known as the Flame Emperor, Entei Sabo. Revolutionary soldiers start rallying around a large picture of Sabo's bounty poster. And that is pretty much the quick references for Chapter 1055. I've already been through Chapter 1054. I've already been through 1055, and I talked about it a little bit, so we need to go over the things that happened in this whole chapter. So, firstly, we get told that there's an entire new Wano. There's an entire old Wano underwater, underneath the sea that surrounds the new Wano. And it was there from 800 years ago. A void century Wano. Like here it says, long summary, Momonosuke once again tells Yamato not to interfere with his fight with Ryokugyu. Yamato asks why, but Momonosuke gets smacked to the ground by the Admiral. Raizo uses Ninpo Makimaki no Jutsu fire release to burn Ryokugyu, who acts like it hurts before dropping the charade and revealing that he can make himself fireproof, citing he wouldn't have become an admiral if he couldn't defend himself from such an obvious weakness. This man, whose one big glaring weakness of wood is fire, he is able to make himself fireproof. He then stabs Raizo through the chest with his roots and starts draining him to his friend's fury. Despite the 9 Scabbards' best efforts, they are unable to permanently cut Ryokugyu's roots, and soon Denjiro, Kawamatsu, and Nekomamushi get wrapped up. Meanwhile, Kozuki Sukiyaki and Nico Robin are joined by Trafalgar Law, who deduce their location based on their absence from the festival. They make their way further down from Sukiyaki's secret room, as the former shogun admits that Kaido and Orochi were still able to find the Poneglyph underground because of Jack, since he is a fishman. Robin inquires what he means, and Sukiyaki explains they will understand soon. Law asks how far down it goes, and he says a few hundred years. Just as the two notice a dim light coming from a glass block window, the two take a look through it and are surprised by what they see: an entire city underwater. Sukiyaki explains that what they are seeing is the Wano of old, specifically from 800 years ago, though he doesn't know how it ended up in such a state. Robin says that the city looks preserved as if the water isn't seawater, and Sukiyaki proposes this theory. Long ago, Wano was much bigger and at sea level on the land around the base of Mount Fuji. At some point, though, walls were erected all around, which enclosed the island and prevented rainwater from finding release, which caused the old city to become submerged. The land further up the mountain was established for settlers and eventually became the current Wano. If the Kalabataman theory is true, that means 2 of the 3 ancient weapons are alive. If that's the case, is the straw hat the third and kept on ice because it's alive? Ooh. Interesting. You just put that all together about 20 seconds ago? That's an interesting theory. Because the concept of living machines or living things or living inanimate objects is not a wild thing to happen in One Piece, because it's something that's actually real in One Piece. So that Kalabataman theory might hold some weight. We'll have to see in next week. The 3 finally arrive at their destination and discover a road poneglyph, marking it as the 3rd one the Straw Hats need to reach Laugh Tale. They only have 1 road poneglyph left. Think about that. Once they get the last road poneglyph, with the help of Nami, they'll be able to go to the final island that will lead them to Laugh Tale itself. Because they still have that Starfall Island. Is it called Starfall? I forgot. There's an island before Laugh Tale itself that going to that island will let you get to Laugh Tale itself. But once the Straw Hats find it, they just need to get to the island, and from there they can make their way to Laugh Tale. I mean, not Laugh Tale, Laugh Tale. Why am I thinking of Raftel when it was called Raftel in the past? The 3 finally arrive at their destination and discover a road poneglyph, marking it as the 3rd one the Straw Hats need to reach Laugh Tale, leaving only 1 left. Sukiyaki then says that if one were to travel a little deeper, they would find Pluton. But he himself hasn't seen it, nor can he show them. Lodestar Island. Thank you, Ogata-san. Thank you. I thank y'all. Thank y'all. When I can't remember some things and I don't look it up in that split second, you guys are the real MVPs for reminding me. Thank you. I appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate y'all, just period. Not just when y'all do stuff, but I just appreciate y'all. He does reveal, though, that retrieving it requires the removal of the walls surrounding the country, meaning that opening the borders is quite literal. It also means that if the walls are destroyed, Wano won't be protected anymore, and Pluton will be unleashed onto the world. Robin asks why Oden wanted to open the land's borders if that was to be the case, but Sukiyaki says everything he told her was what was passed down to him as shogunate, and that he doesn't know what his son learned during his travels. I still feel, from a personal note, that whatever Starfall is supposed to be from Sonic Frontiers, you can tell I still got Sonic Frontiers on the brain, CJ. But one thing that pops into my head is whatever Oden wrote down in his journal that he then tore out that Momonosuke couldn't see, that might be the reason why Oden wanted to open up Wano's borders. Whatever he learned on his travels, wrote down in his journal, and then withheld from Momonosuke, it just makes me think that that's what that page was. Outside the flower capital, Ryokugyu tells the restrained samurai that he wouldn't have shown up if Kaido was still in charge, claiming that his presence, no matter how horrible it was, acted as a deterrent for potential predators. He once again demands Luffy to be brought before him, promising to leave after he kills him. Yamato asks Momonosuke to call Luffy and the others to take Ryokugyu down, but he refuses to involve them. He also tells Yamato that he doesn't want to taint his send-off after being imprisoned for so long, and after relying on the Straw Hats for so long. He needs to prove that he and his retainers can fend for themselves once they leave. The 4th road poneglyph was supposed to be the one on Fishman Island, but now it's gone. The key to find it is to know who took that poneglyph. Momonosuke continues demanding that Ryokugyu leave, and he eventually manages to manifest Kaido's Bolo breath, heavily damaging Ryokugyu. The Scabbards and Yamato react with amazement to Momonosuke's accomplishment as Ryokugyu's tree form burns to ashes. He is able to regenerate from a sapling and regain his tree form, where he announces he will kill him if he continues to stand in his way. However, Ryokugyu senses an incredibly strong burst of Conqueror's Haki coming from Shanks, which causes him to return to normal. He reacts with surprise that the Red Hair Pirates are nearby, as Shanks himself says that he thinks that going after the new generation of pirates while they have their guard down seems tasteless, asking if the New Age scares him that much. His presence convinces Ryokugyu to abandon his mission, and the samurai and Yamato celebrate their victory. While in the Flower Capital, while everyone is partying, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei, who were sitting by a hillside and noticing the fight, remarked that their samurai friends were amazing and how intense Shanks' haki was to be able to drive Ryokugyu away. They don't know that it was him, though, but Luffy has his suspicions as Shanks sails away. So many things. Quick references. The fight outside the Flower Capital against Ryokugyu continues. Momonosuke has Yamato pull back as he wishes to deal with Ryokugyu alone to prove he is capable of protecting Wano country on his own without having to rely on the assistance of others. Momonosuke successfully fires a Bolo breath which heavily damages Ryokugyu, and Ryokugyu is able to regrow himself. Shanks showcases the ability to unleash a powerful burst of Haoshaki Haki from far away, doing so on Ryokugyu. Ryokugyu turns away from the fight once he identifies the source of the haki. Shanks took it to Elbaf. Part of the One Piece is there too. You probably need all the ancient weapons together to use the One Piece properly. We just have to see if it goes in that direction. The one thing I love about Oda being ready to show us the future of, hey, more resources for me for Metal Gear Solid. Just keep that going for a couple more hours. One thing I like about One Piece is that not knowing, sure, we can come up with theories all the time, but not knowing what lies ahead for us, that, I had to crack my back. That just fills me with joy. The unknown of One Piece fills me with joy because we're learning so much right now. We're learning so much. And to think that we're not going on break after a chapter like this. It is revealed that Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei were aware of Ryokugyu's presence, but chose not to interfere. Law joins Robin and Sukiyaki, the latter showing them an underwater part of Wano. Sukiyaki shows them the original Wano country located at the feet of Mount Fuji. You like being wrong about your theories? It's what makes the series so fun. I know. It's so good. The series is so good. Sukiyaki shows them the original Wano country located at the feet of Mount Fuji. During the Void Century, Wano country used to be located at sea level until walls were raised alongside its borders, eventually causing the country to flood due to rainwater and forcing the inhabitants to move upwards Mount Fuji, leading to modern Wano's existence. Sukiyaki confirms that Pluton rests below the ancient city, which means that Pluton is underneath the original city of Wano. But no one has been down there, nor can he show it to them because it's underneath the city. The meaning of Kozuki Oden's objective to open the country's borders means liberating Pluton from its current state and unleashing it in the world. Sukiyaki shows them the royal poneglyph below the mountain, and the Beast Pirates were aware of the poneglyph's location thanks to Jack, who could explore the underwater ruins because he is a fishman. But how could he move underwater, though? They say Jack could explore. Oh, right. You guys did say that maybe he was able to see the royal poneglyph before he got his mammoth zoan fruit. So there's that. So many things. Luffy got his 3 commanders, land for Zoro, sea for Jinbei, and air for Sanji. Luffy just took Kaido's epithet. Wow, you're right. No more can we say, like, on land, sea, or air, always bet on Kaido. Now Luffy has that epithet. Luffy. You can say that to the Straw Hat crew now. On land, sea, or air, always bet on the Straw Hats. That's the new motto now. Kaido can't have that motto anymore because he's been beat. On land, sea, or air, always bet on the Straw Hats. That's the new big there's a saying that on land, sea, and air, always bet on the Straw Hat Pirates. And I mean, in the past, there's no reason to think that that isn't true. But that's these 2 chapters, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a close right now. Wow. These 2 chapters were amazing. Can I just say that? These 2 chapters were amazing. These 2 chapters that we got in July, just 2 chapters. 2 chapters, and they got me racking my brain. They just racking my brain over the things that's just been revealed. Like, who knew? Like, I'm sure we've seen Conqueror's Haki be powerful, and you can feel it from an entire island and Conqueror's Haki clash. But being able to send out bursts of Haki from a long distance and being able to intimidate an admiral into leaving his Logia state and backing away and giving up and leaving just from the Haki alone? Kaido was right. Only Haki can transcend all. Because Haki is enough to make someone as powerful as Ryokugyu leave his entire state and give up and leave. Shanks supplied conquerors with observation. Who knows? Because I've always talked about higher applications and higher levels of Haki. Like, we've seen it before. Higher applications of armament. Higher applications of observation. Higher applications of, now, Conquerors. So now, apparently, Conqueror's Haki can be so potent that it can be felt across an entire island and intimidate and keep Logia users from using their powers. As if they were using armament Haki on them. So it's interesting. Kyushu about to start his merch. I feel like I'm not there yet to start merch of my own quite yet. I feel like I'm not at that point just not yet. But overall, we got 2 chapters in the month of July, and they were fantastic. The return of the Red Hair Pirates, and then seeing Shanks exercise more of his power to a higher degree, causing Ryokugyu, who was dead set on killing Luffy, to just back away. And Ryokugyu was able to tell that it was the Red Hair Pirates and Shanks. He was able to tell just from the force of the Haki alone. So either he's been informed about the type of power that Shanks has with Conquerors, or he just instantly knows. But all I know is that with this chapter not going on break, I'm excited to see more. Because the Red Hair Pirates, they're gone. They left. They left to go deal with Bartolomeo. Ryokugyu is gone because he gave up, because Shanks made him give up. Because he says, I'm not ready to fight you guys yet. That happened. So all in all, this is great. One Piece is great. I'm looking forward to it. But I've carried this on for about a good hour. I hope I was able to cover everything that everyone wanted to discuss, or at least I hope I was able to cover everything in this entire reaction. I got to do my My Hero Academia reaction, and then that'll be it for me today. But overall, I enjoyed myself. These chapters are amazing. Thank you once again, CDES, for the super chat. Neil Johnson for being a member for 5 months, and basically anyone else who's here. Whether you're new and this is your first time to the channel, or whether you've been here for months or even years, I just want to say, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then like, subscribe, and maybe even consider becoming a member, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later peoples, onwards to My Hero, and then I'm gonna relax for the rest of the day. Looks like you got a VOD to watch? Yeah, Ethams, this was a monumental chapter. Oh my goodness. But onwards to My Hero.